the thing I hear most often from residents and visitors of the city of Fredericksburg. If we're thinking about kind of quality of life issues, the one I hear about the most by far is noise, right? And particularly traffic noise, muffler noise, particularly from vehicles with modified exhaust. That's by far the most common quality of life complaint we have.
I can't tell you how many interviews I've been doing downtown over the years, and that happens, where we have to stop and wait for it to go by.
Yeah, no, I mean it's really disruptive, and it's bad for the people who live here and who sleep here. It's bad for people on the sidewalk and people dining at all our great cafes and restaurants. It's a real quality of life challenge here in the city.
So you've petitioned the General Assembly, and there's some hope on the horizon.
Yeah, so we've had the ordinances regulating that noise for quite a while, but it's a question of enforcement. Our police have a lot to do, and they can't be everywhere all at once, so it's just tough for them to catch everybody as they're ripping through town with their modified mufflers. So a couple years ago, we reached out to the General Assembly and asked them to give us the authority to do automated traffic noise enforcement. So that's basically, this is something they do in other states.
Yeah.
They use a device that's kind of like a speed camera, except it uses an array of microphones rather than a radar gun. And so when a vehicle drives by the device, it's listening, and it can pinpoint diseases that are exceeding the legal noise limit. And when they identify one of those vehicles, they snap a picture of the license plate and can issue a ticket. And the problem is, though, we need specific authority from the state to use that technology. So we started asking 2 years ago for our representatives in Richmond to grant us that authority. And this General Assembly session, thanks to the hard work of Delegate Cole, a bill was passed in both the House and the Senate that authorizes jurisdictions in the Fredericksburg region and in Northern Virginia to use this technology for 2 years as a pilot project, just to see if it actually, how successful it is in reality in actually addressing this quality of life challenge.
Well, to get this, and assuming the governor has to sign it.
Yeah, so the bill is currently on the governor's desk, and we're waiting to see if Governor Youngkin will sign it or not.
Still, if he signs it, this is a great step forward in this whole issue.
So if he signs it, sort of the next step is for City Council to get together and to pass an ordinance allowing us to use this technology, like as the state has authorized us to. And then we have to reach out, and our police department will take the lead on exploring, vendors and, figuring out how you actually implement this.
So it's still a while, but
it will be a while. First the governor has to sign it. It'll be quite a while before we actually see this technology on our streets. But this is the first step.
Boy, and I'm sure this is something really on a local level you hear a lot about.
Yeah, this is, like I said, this is by far the biggest complaint we get in terms of quality of life throughout the city, especially downtown, but really throughout the city. And I think that this is really going to be a really good tool for helping us address this issue, because, folks they like to rip down Caroline Street with their modified mufflers because they just like to hear the noise bouncing off the buildings, I think. And I get the appeal of that, but I think folks don't think about the impact that has on our residents and our visitors. And I think that if people know that they're going to get a ticket every time they do that because we have one of these devices, that's really how we wrap our arms around this problem.
Well, and it's all times a day. It can be.
It is,
and that's the thing. It can be. Yeah. It's the height of the afternoon or late night, early morning,
middle of night, right? I think folks forget that people live in our downtown, and above all the shops are apartments, and throughout our city, right? And so, if they're coming through to hear their muffler noise echo at 2 a.m., they're waking a lot of folks up.
So next stop on this is the governor's desk, and then we see what happens.
Yeah, so I would encourage people, if this is something you'd like to see the city pursue, to reach out to Governor Youngkin, shoot him an email or give him a call. If you Google contact Governor Youngkin, you'll find that way to do it. Let him know that you'd like to see him sign. It's called House Bill 2550, HB 2550. I'd encourage you to reach out and let him know that you'd like to see him sign that. Because that's the critical next step. And then if he signs it, then we here in the city of Fredericksburg can get to work on implementing this technology.
Well, we're just standing. We haven't had any problems this morning, and that's the great. I mean, and that's what you want to have.
That's what you want, right? I mean, we don't want to issue folks tickets on this, right? The ideal outcome to this is that people stop driving through town with
Yeah.
modified mufflers, and we don't have to ticket them anymore. That's the ideal outcome.